The Kansai Osaka Expo is about to end, but how was it?
From Slovakia, but living in a Czech. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you came all the way to Japan?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Not because of the expo, but also.
There was
How
also.
was the expo?
Wow. Nice. Lots of queues. Sometimes difficult to get in a pavilion if you don't have reservation, but otherwise, good experience anyway.
今日は何を買われたんですか？
ずっと欲しかったリング買いました。
これなんか人気ですよ
は
ね。
い、ずっと欲しくて、
好きなんですか？最初
ずっと
から。
最初から好きで、始まった頃から好きで、一回脈々のポン・デ・リングを自作したことがあって、
すごい。すごい。これ作るのどれぐらいかかったんですか？
でもそんなに難しくなくて、100均のチョコを溶かしてそのままつけて10分ぐらいで作れます。
With so many long lines preventing people from seeing everything, some visitors returned repeatedly.
僕は常連なんですけど、僕は20回弱ぐらい来てるんです
今日行ったアンドロイドのやつね。
ああ、命の未来。
そうはちょっと考えさせられましたね。これからこうなるんやみたいな、とは思いましたね。
国内のやつはそう。海外のだとやっぱイタリアとか、こうなんか美術で攻めてくるみたいな、こう美術で訴えかけてくるっていうのはもうなんか本物を全部置いてあったんで、やっぱりそこはなんかなんですかね、美術でこうなんですかね、命をこう蘇らせるみたいなテーマだったんで、もうまさにその通りの展示だなっていう感じでしたね。
感じました、それ。
それは感じ本気でやってるなっていう感じでビシビシと感じましたね。はい。
ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございます。
いえいえ。
Each pavilion had its concept and a message. Italy's pavilion was what drew overwhelming attention and the biggest crowds. The building inside, inspired by a painting of an ideal future city, embodies the theme, "Art reawakens people." At the theater, it explains the concept. When the doors open, the first thing that catches the eye is the Farnese Atlas. a marble sculpture from ancient Rome dating back to the 2nd century BC. Standing 2 meters tall and weighing 2 tons, the figure of Atlas bends his knees while holding a celestial globe on his shoulders. As the god of astronomy, Atlas symbolizes the connection between the West and East, the individual and society, land and spirituality. Also on display is Umberto Boccioni's 1913 masterpiece, Unique Forms of Continuity in Space. Although the human form is abstract, the sculpture conveys a strong sense of motion, energy, and speed, embodying the futurist ideals of movement and dynamism. His mentor, Giacomo Balla's Forces of the Fist, Boccioni, is also displayed. There is also an exhibit celebrating Japan-Italy friendship. Tintoretto's portrait of Ito Mancio, a young nobleman who led Japan's first diplomatic delegation sent to Europe, called the Tensho Embassy. Visitors can even view the artist's signature on the back of the canvas. Looking up, a replica of pilot Arturo Ferrarin's aircraft is suspended from the ceiling. Reminiscent of Leonardo da Vinci's design, this SVA-9 model plane faithfully reproduces the aircraft Ferrarin used in 1920 to complete the first ever 18,000-kilometer flight from Rome to Tokyo. It was specially built for this expo to commemorate the long-standing friendship between the two countries.
We're very happy, of course, that the Japanese public, not only the Japanese public, but the international public followed us so much, followed our calendar also. And we were happy to see that there was this interest also on the part of the media, for example. And I have to say that we were not really surprised, because there is a strong connection between Italy and Japan. And if you think about it, in Expo Milano 2015, the most popular pavilion was the Japanese one. And also in front of the Japanese pavilion in 2015, you had 7-hour lines. So this is also a way to keep this connection between Milano and Osaka, who after all are sister cities, as a matter of fact. Actually, Milano sent very precious pieces here to Osaka. It was Milano who sent from the Biblioteca Ambrosiana in all 4 precious pages of the Codex Atlanticus of Leonardo da Vinci. One of the things that visitors found more amazing for them, and things that normally, even in Italy, it's not so easy to see. Right. So this was also an added value that came from Milano. The other added value is that out of 20 Italian regions, we had a record number of 18 regions who decided to participate in this project, and they all really did their best. Some of them brought extremely precious, important pieces of art, but together with the narration of their technology, of their research, of their universities. So they all tried to present themselves in a very similar way to how we are presenting ourselves. The theme that we chose for the Italy Pavilion is Art Regenerates Life. And this is but the way we intend art is not really only the beauty of art or culture and so on, which is of course something that the Japanese public knows very well, but it's also an interpretation of art as engineering, technology, innovation. So this is the theme that we chose to develop when we decided how to answer to this great question, that is the question of Expo, which is designing future societies for our lives. So that is the theme that we chose.
How do you say that in Italian, the theme?
L'arte rigenera la vita.
And in English, that would be?
Art regenerates life. And in Japanese, it's geijutsu wa inochi o saisei suru. That is the Japanese interpretation. Also, it's very interesting because in Japan you have bijutsu and geijutsu, which is an interesting point because that is exactly the theme that we go and talk about. Because art, after all, is the action of humans on nature, on the world. It's connected to creativity, but it's connected to invention, to building, to making. So these are the themes of the Italian pavilion.
But I'm impressed by all the pieces. How do you bring them to Japan?
For us, it was very important to bring original, authentic works of art. Not only classical works of art like the Farnese Atlas, but also contemporary works of art, and also touching upon some art movements like avant-garde, like with a very famous artist like Mimmo Palladino, who has a beautiful piece of art outside the pavilion, a large helmet, but also like very young artists like Iago.
Circulatory System by Iago has become especially popular among young people. The installation features 30 ceramic sculptures, each with a unique form, expressing the rhythm and heartbeat of life. The dialogue between art, science, and technology symbolizes the idea that art restores life.
It was a very elegant, beautiful exhibit here. Iago is also not only important because he's a young artist and a successful one at that, but he's also loved by young people. So normally to see young people who follow a young artist is always something very interesting to see. We also brought some very important pieces of our futurist artists like Boccioni, for example, and on the National Day we unveiled another famous futurist piece by Balla, another great Italian futurist. We wanted to bring futurism also because Japanese futurism also existed and was connected to Italian futurism in the 20s, so it was an interesting way to introduce something that goes beyond Renaissance and beyond Baroque, which is normally what is more well known by the Japanese public.
The pavilion also presents Michelangelo's Risen Christ. Although originally commissioned, the artist abandoned the sculpture midway after discovering a dark vein in the marble, considered an ominous sign for a statue of Christ. It was later completed by another artist, making it a rare and historically fascinating piece. Nearby stands Caravaggio's Entombment of Christ, created between 1602 and 1604, a masterpiece that revolutionized art through its realism and dramatic use of light. From late August, another treasure joined the collection. The Banner of Justice by Pietro Perugino, one of the great Renaissance masters. Painted in 1496 and displayed outside Italy for the first time, it depicts the Virgin and Child surrounded by angels above. Moving through the pavilion, visitors also encounter displays highlighting Italy's diverse regions. And further along, another priceless exhibit, Leonardo da Vinci's Codex Atlanticus. This monumental collection of 119 pages contains Leonardo's sketches across science, technology, art, and architecture. Four selected original drawings are showcased here, offering a close look at the meticulous genius of the Renaissance polymath. At the top of the stairs lies a rooftop garden, designed as a labyrinth-like cloister in traditional Italian style.
I think that what we see happening around us today outside this beautiful ring, which really encloses a group of nations that are working together and cooperating together. But around us, as you know, of course, there are growing tensions, and we unfortunately have some very serious war situations. Now, I think that it is clear through what we see here at the Expo, and not only in the Italian pavilion, as a matter of fact, that there is a world of builders, there is a world of designers, of dreamers that is aimed at doing something real and doing it better and competing to make better things. And then there's another world, unfortunately, of people who destroy and smash everything that the others have built. So the fact is that this is a very important and very understandable picture that you have here at Expo. You definitely have it in the Italian pavilion, because that is what our pavilion is about. Our pavilion is about building, about creating, about inventing, and using everything we can to do this. So using, of course, our imagination, but using also the extremely modern technologies, such as, of course, all the digitalization and artificial intelligence. But then, of course, these instruments can also be used for very negative objectives. Our objectives are positive, and I think that this is a good message for our younger generations.
When it comes to pavilions that delivered a powerful message, the top prize went to Singapore. Dream Repository. Entering a glowing red sphere, visitors step into a space bathed in multicolored light. Inside, they can write down their dreams on digital tablets and send them into the system. Further ahead, the ceiling displays those dreams, floating with charming illustrations, conveying a hopeful message of nurturing the future together. The pavilion that won third place with its striking message was Austria. Its spiral structure soaring toward the sky is designed after a musical score. The theme is Composing the Future. At night, the pavilion glows beautifully, reflecting Austria's proud identity as a nation of music. Home to world-renowned composers such as Mozart and Beethoven. Inside stands a grand piano.
This is the grand piano from the Austrian traditional piano manufacturer Bösendorfer. This is a special edition for the expo here, and there are 16 worldwide, and this is number 0, so 50.
This piano is modeled after the one presented to the Emperor of Japan in 1868, when diplomatic relations between the two countries were established. It's a special version created for the expo by Bösendorfer, featuring an automatic playing function and decorated with ukiyo-e art by Katsushika Hokusai. Visitors can listen to its melodies while learning about Austria and its long-standing ties with Japan. Along the corridor, the exhibit introduces Austria's contributions to nuclear physics, science, and sports, showcasing the country from its past to its future.
Nobel Prize winners and nominees. And scientists. So like the University of Innsbruck is working on the construction of quantum computers. So this is like the practical part to the theories. I see. So we also have the
Next comes the Room of the Future, dominated by a massive screen. Here, visitors can compose the future themselves, choosing instruments such as violin, drums, or clarinet, and combining sounds with the help of AI. They create music in groups of 4, symbolizing that the future is something to be played together, not alone. Through these messages of harmony, creativity, and hope, the Austrian pavilion resonated with many visitors and earned high praise at the expo. The second in place for best activation and engagement was a pavilion of a country fighting for peace. Our Ukrainian staff visited the yellow and blue pavilion, the Pavilion of Ukraine. It looks like a store with some products on display, like toys or megaphones, or even rubber boats and suitcases. But the sign that was hanging said, "Not for sale." What does this mean? At the entrance, tablets are given. How does the exhibition work?
And the concept is that you enter a kind of supermarket, and you can see different goods on the shelves, the blue one.
Oh, okay.
And we have a barcode to each of them. And we give you special scanner,
Right.
and you press this button, you scan each object.
When you scan the barcodes, instead of the price is not shown, but instead a short video appeared on screen. They say tires like these were used to protect protesters during the revolution in 2014. When the large invasion by Russia began in 2022, tires were also used to build defensive barricades. They stand as the symbol for freedom of choice. "18 products, and each stand for human rights and values."
You will not see the price on the screen, but you can see short video about the resilience of Ukrainians and values we're standing for during the war.
I see.
And values is something you cannot sell or buy. That is why we have our logo not for sale over there.
That's what it stands for.
Yes. So each object presents different kinds of values.
Can you just introduce some of them?
Yes.
If possible?
Each product had the tag representing the value the Ukrainians had.
About humanity. And maybe you heard about Kakhovka Dam, which was destroyed. And it was real disaster because big territory of Ukraine was flooded. And many people stayed under the water. Not only people, but animals as well. So Ukrainian volunteers do such kind of boats to reach to those places and to save not only people but also animals. So it's about humanity.
Humanity for animals as well.
Yes, exactly.
And suitcase.
Suitcase, it's also about humanity, and as you can imagine, when the invasion started, so many people were forced to leave their places. People who lost totally everything, their homes, they just took one or two suitcases and went somewhere, western part of Ukraine or abroad.
I see.
We have evacuees all over the world. Even in Japan, we have more than 2,700 people.
These are the Oscar statue models, standing for the value of freedom of speech. The film 20 Days in Mariupol captured the first invasion days by Russia. Journalists risked their lives to show the true horror of the city under Russian siege. In 2024, Ukraine won its first Oscar at the 96th Academy Awards. It showed the need for right information, and the statue emphasizes the importance of freedom of speech.
This is a real object. You know what's this?
What the hell?
We put it like this. It's a lamp.
Lamp?
Yes, it's the real one. It's not 3D printed. And we are talking about right to medical care. Because when we have blackouts after the massive attacks, we have no light, but our doctors have to work, have to save people's life. So they put it on their forehead and they do medical surgery operation, you know.
So there's lack of medical care as well.
Yes. And also kids who have to do their homework with no light, they can use it as well. And we talk about right to self-expression. When people with megaphones went out to declare that they want to go to Europe and want to protect democratic values. That is.
I see.
Even during the war, megaphones were used to protect the rights of LGBTQs and showing that Ukrainian people live in diversity. The eye-catching item were roses. What do they stand for?
Rose, it's about famous TV show, Bachelor.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yes. And last season of this TV show was a special one because a Ukrainian defender who lost his legs on prosthesis, he took part in this show.
Really?
Yes, he was looking for a fiancé, for a future wife, giving them rose, you know. And actually, this main hero, he came to our National Day on August 5th, here to our pavilion, yes, to Osaka. Yes. And we are talking about accessibility with this video because we have so many injured people. People, not only defenders, but ordinary people who, after missile attacks, lost their hands, legs, you know, injured. So we have to create a special environment for them to feel life, to proceed living like other people.
The video showed how brave the defender was and what the feelings were. Also, what was heartbreaking was a war crime still undergoing.
One is very touchy for me because I'm mother of 2 kids and we are talking about children's rights. So this is a prototype of real toy which was found in blood in Kramatorsk city after the missile attacks. And we are talking about kids we lost, kids which are injured, and kids which are kidnapped to Russia, more than 20,000 kids. And we have to find a way how to bring them back.
You're telling the values not for sale.
Yes.
And also stories in Ukraine.
Yes, we are not talking about the war. We are talking about stories, about people of Ukraine who live more than 3 years in such a conditions, struggle, defending our values, defending kids, territory, and also culture, which is very important. This is a prototype of real object which was stolen from Kherson Museum. So we have to protect our cultural heritage as well, not only object from museums, but we are talking about our language, our culture, our history, as well as our territories. Because if we will not be able to defend it, we will lose our country. That's why we are not going to lose our country.
Our Ukrainian staff asked,
That's wonderful. Could you share with you sometimes any of their impressions, thoughts about this exhibition?
To be frank, every time we hear that, guys, you have beautiful concept, it's very clear, it's very nice, so we're really grateful for such comments, but our creative agency, they done really good job because we had only 3 months for preparation.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's amazing what they've done.
How do you think like this pavilion at the expo will it have like a good impact on the relationship of Japan, Ukraine?
It already has, because actually we've got the proposal from Japanese side, from Japanese government to take part in this in the expo last year in November, because as you can imagine, we don't have budget to take part in such kind of fairs. So really grateful to people of Japan for this opportunity for us to take part and to appeal to tell our stories, to tell about our values. So it's keenly important for us to be there.
Yeah, what is the message you would like to carry to the people through this exhibition, to the whole world, to the Japanese people, and of course for Ukrainians?
As I explained, the concept is we are talking about values, and which are not for sale. So you cannot sell or buy values. So you have to defend those values, as Ukrainians do.
Many messages were brought and had inspired and regenerated the visitors for future thoughts.